You have decided to invest in Toronto condos. Should you buy an existing condo in the resale market, or should you buy a pre-construction unit to be completed in 4 years? Resale or pre-construction? This is one of the most popular questions that I answered on a daily basis. I'm going to share with you 3 factors that you must know before you make your decision. The main difference between buying a pre-construction unit or a resale unit is the closing date. For a resale unit, closing is usually happens 60 days after the purchase. For a pre-construction, the closing won't happen until 3 or 4 years after. Here comes the factor number 1, money. Upon closing, you need to come up with 100% of the purchase price. The money can either come from your own savings or from the mortgage. To buy a resale unit, you need to come up with this 100% purchase price within 60 days. If you have 30% in cash, make sure you can get the remaining 70% mortgage from the bank. To buy a pre-construction unit, 20% cash is needed. The remaining 80% is due upon closing in a few years. Pre-construction sounds like the way to go if you would like to delay dealing with your mortgage application. However, if you are planning to retire in the next 2 years, or you are anticipating a significant income drop, you better apply for a mortgage earlier rather than later. In this case, a resale may be a better choice for you. Factor number 2, sense of touch. Buying a resale unit is like shopping in a physical store, where you can feel and touch the product. Buying a pre-construction unit is like shopping online, where you buy it from photos and specifications. If you are the type of person who need to touch and feel before you buy, then you can only consider resale. Otherwise, you can open up your selection in both worlds. Factor number 3, rental income. The time you can start collecting rent and how much rent you can collect are both important elements of your investment equation. With a resale unit, you can start collecting rent right away. For a pre-construction unit, you probably need to wait for 4 years before you can start collecting rent. How much rent you can collect is directly affected by the rent control policy. This policy has 2 parts. The first part applies to units that were completed before November 15, 2018. Let's just call these old units. The second part applies to units that were completed after November 15, 2018. Let's just call these new units. For the old units, you can only increase the rent once a year according to the rent increase guideline set by the government. The increase in 2019 is 1.9%, and the increase in 2020 will be 2.2%. You may not like this, but if you purchase a resale unit that's in the old unit category, then you have no choice but to obey this guideline. For the new units, you are still limited to increase the rent once a year, but there is no limit to how much you can increase. This means you can legitimately increase the rent from $2,000 to $10,000. If your tenant does not agree to the increase, he or she may choose to leave. In an old unit, you would only be able to increase the rent to a maximum of $2,038. Some investors are trading their old units for new units so that they can enjoy the benefits of the new rent control policy. Can you find new resale unit in the market? Well, it is tough because there's only 1% of the condo in Toronto market today are being built after November 15, 2018. So, if the new rent control policy is more important to you, then pre-construction may be the better choice for you. Let's recap on the 3 factors that you must know before you make your decision on buying a resale or pre-construction. Number 1, money. For resale, you need 100% of the money ready within 60 days. For pre-construction, you need 20% cash now and you can deal with the rest 4 years after. Number 2, sense of touch. For resale, you can feel and touch the unit. For pre-construction, you buy from photos and specifications. Number 3, rental income. For resale, you can collect rent right away, but you must obey the rent increase guideline of around 2% increase per year. For pre-construction, you need to wait 4 years before you can collect rent, but there's no limit on how much you can increase your rent each year. If you need advice on where and what type of unit you should invest, you can schedule a call with me at CondoWong.ca. Make sure you click the red subscribe button so that you won't miss any of my future videos.